What's up, guys? Adam here with another episode of Schmalty's Homebrew. Today we're doing an American Stout. This is one of my go-to recipes. It's 10 pounds of American two-row, a pound of Crystal 60, 12 ounces of chocolate malt, and 4 ounces of black patent malt. This one goes over real good with friends and family. It's a really solid beer, easy drinking. It comes in at about 7%, depending on my efficiency. So I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so the mash tun's all preheated. We got our sparge water in there now. I'm going to add a tablespoon of the 5.2 mash pH stabilizer. It's going to help us maintain a nice solid pH while this grain goes to work. My grains pre-milled from the Homebrew store. Dumped in about a third. Give it a mix. Be careful not to knock loose that bazooka tube in there. Make sure when you're mixing that you pay close attention and don't get any dough balls. Just kind of draw it up from the bottom. If you find any clumps like that, just break them up. We're looking for a mash temperature of about 155 degrees. Given the 72 degree temp of the grains, we're hitting it with strike water about 167 degrees to get that differential right. We're going to do a 60-minute sparge, test it at 60 minutes, and do an iodine test to make sure all those starches are fully converted. And then we'll get it into the brew kettle. Alright, so we're going to do an iodine test. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, but I realized I never actually did it. So we got a little bit of the wort collected here in the cup. It's a little harder to tell because it's a darker beer. We're going to put a couple drops of iodine in there. And you'll notice if it starts to turn purple, then you still got a lot of starches left in there. If it keeps that reddish iodine hue, then you're good to go. So it looks like we're pretty solid. Let's start the sparge now.
And go.
Alright, so now we're going to start the sparge. We'll start that off with a Vorloff. And open the valve, get the grain bed set. Do it nice and slow. Ooh, that is pretty. Basically, we're getting the grain bed to sit down and create a filter for all of the wort to run through, so we don't get any chunks of grains and stuff in there. I usually do this about 2 or 3 times. With the bazooka tube I have in there, it's pretty efficient. One time probably does it, but just for redundancy, I do it multiple times. Gently pour the Vorloff back over. See the little chunks of grains in there? That's what we want to reduce. It's running pretty damn clear. Pour this back over, do it one more time, and then we're going to get this all run off into the pot. Alright, so my cameraman had to take off, so I'm going to be doing this the rest of the way on my own. I got my first runnings in here. I I'm showing about a 1088 on my hydrometer reading, which is pretty solid for the first runnings. I've got my sparge water all mixed in here. We're at about 165, 170 degrees. This thermometer is not real great. Digital thermometer showed 170. The purpose of this is our mash out. We're looking to denature the enzymes, kind of get them to stop doing their job, and we're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes just to wrench the rest of the sugars off the grains. Alright, so the grains have sat at about 170 degrees for my mash out. I've got it all mixed up again now that it's sat for about 15-20 minutes. And I'm going to proceed to do the secondary Vorloff and sparge on this. Only got one set of hands, so I'm going to come back after this is all sparged out, and we're going to get it to boil and start dropping the hops in. Alright guys, coming up to the boil temperature. We're at about 192 degrees. We've got about 20 to go. Once we hit 212 and starts to boil, we're going to dump in our first 60-minute hop addition of 1 ounce of Challenger hops. That's 8.9 alpha acids. 30 minutes, we're going to do an additional 1 ounce of the same Challenger hops. And then we're going to do a flame out of 2 ounces of the same Challenger hops. You can see the protein starting to come up to the top here. That's a good sign that we're getting pretty damn close to the boil temperature. Pay close attention. If you get a real quick flash up of those proteins, then it's really likely to boil over. Alright, we've hit boil here, done the first hop addition. Fortunately, we didn't have much of a boil up. Got a little bit of a line on the edge there, but it's pretty good. We're going to do another hop addition of 1 ounce in 30 minutes, and then another 2 ounces at flame out. Alright, we got the Whirlflock in there, we got the wort chiller. We're at the 0-minute mark here, so I'm going to turn the flame out. And I'm going to do the final flame out hop addition of 2 ounces of Challenger. We're going to let this steep for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to turn on the wort chiller and let it do its thing. Alright, so we got it chilling down. I got some foil sprayed with Star San over the top just to keep potential hazards out. We got the water coming in out of the faucet here and going right back down the drain. Keep it on a low pressure just because it's going to do the job either way. And I want to reduce my water waste. So should be about maybe another 15 minutes here, and we will be nice and cooled down. She is raging.